Hello everyone, thank you for joining our webinar today on the GRCA's new Draft Conservation Areas Strategy. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Megan and I'm the Land Management Analyst here at GRCA. Before we get started, I'll mention that the draft strategy is available on our website at www.grandriver.ca/conservation area strategy. And we also have a public survey posted on the website, and both the strategy and survey will be posted until October 4th. Today's presentation will be about 15 to 20 minutes long, and I'll start off with a bit of background on conservation authorities in the Grand River watershed. I'll provide some background on GRCA and its history of land acquisition. I'll provide an overview of GRCA's current land portfolio and some information about our properties. I'll then go over the Draft Conservation Area Strategy, why we've developed it, and summarize some of the key elements within the strategy. And I'll end with a slide that directs you to our website where the draft strategy is posted and a link to the survey, which is, as I mentioned, open until October 4th. The Conservation Authorities Act was passed in the 1940s, and since then, 36 authorities have been established. The purpose of the Act was to create organizations that would conserve, restore, and manage natural resources in Ontario. Conservation authorities have watershed jurisdictions that extend beyond municipal boundaries. The Grand River watershed is made up of 38 member municipalities. Each conservation authority is represented by a board of directors appointed by the municipal councils of the participating municipalities. As you can see from the map, the Grand River is the largest watershed in southern Ontario. A little bit about the Grand River watershed. So the Grand River watershed is about 6,800 square kilometers. Its headwaters are located near Dundalk, and the river flows about 300 kilometers south to Port Maitland at Lake Erie. Its major tributaries include the Conestoga, Speed, Eramosa, and Nith rivers. The population of the watershed is about 1 million people, and it is also home to the reserve of 2 First Nations, the Six Nations of the Grand River and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Grand River is also designated a Canadian Heritage River and is celebrated for its wealth of natural and cultural heritage and recreational opportunities. So a bit of history on the GRCA and land acquisition. In 1934, the Grand River Conservation Commission was formed to help address local problems that included flooding, drought, and water pollution. The Commission began to identify and acquire lands suitable for reservoir development that would serve multiple purposes, which includes flood control, water retention for water supply, and water quality. In 1948, a second watershed management agency called the Grand Valley Conservation Authority was formed. This organization aimed to acquire lands to help conserve and restore natural environments and to maintain unique natural heritage features in priority areas. Some properties were also acquired for outdoor recreation opportunities. In 1966, these organizations merged to form the current Grand River Conservation Authority. The new agency continued to build reservoirs, undertake larger-scale water management projects, and develop areas for outdoor recreation. Today, the GRCA currently owns around 50,000 acres that help support GRCA's programs and services and are used for a variety of purposes such as lands for water control infrastructure, outdoor recreation, environmental education, natural areas, agricultural and commercial leases, rental properties, and lands under maintenance agreement. So why are we developing a new strategy? Development of the strategy was prompted by recent changes to the Conservation Authorities Act, which requires all conservation authorities in Ontario to develop a conservation areas strategy. The strategy provides a high-level comprehensive framework that will help to guide and inform future decision-making and help direct programs and services and resources on all GRCA lands. And just a note, although it is titled the Conservation Areas Strategy, this strategy encompasses all GRCA lands, not just the fee-for-use Grand River conservation areas. 4 land use categories were established to help classify lands based on the types of activities offered on each parcel. Factors considered include permitted activities, designations, and the current programs and services. The categories are water management. These properties are used to support flood control, flow augmentation, modeling and forecasting, and include the large reservoirs, flood walls, dams, and dikes. Conservation areas. These are our fee-for-use properties known as Grand River Conservation Areas that are open to the public and offer recreational-based activities such as camping, hiking, swimming, boating, picnicking, and so on. They have on-site facilities, services, and infrastructure, as well as full-time and seasonal staff. Conservation lands, these properties have managed trails that have no user fees, minimal facilities, and offer a more passive, unstructured experience and activities such as hiking, birding, and photography. Lastly, the controlled or limited access areas. These properties are closed to the public due to sensitive ecosystems, natural hazards, or program restrictions. However, access may be granted through special permissions such as licenses, leases, agreements, cottage lot program, research permits, or access permits. More information on the land use categories can be found in the draft strategy. Here we have a map of the watershed and the location of our Grand River conservation areas, some of the more popular conservation lands, and the sections of the rail trails that are owned by the GRCA. We operate 11 conservation areas in the Luther Marsh Wildlife Management Area that offer many outdoor activities, and 6 of these conservation areas are open year-round. Many conservation areas were developed on the land that surrounds the water management reservoirs, and recreation was a secondary use. These properties' main purpose is for flood control. I've also listed some popular conservation lands. These properties are advertised on our website. However, we do have more conservation land sites with managed trails that are open locally. A few interesting stats about GRCA lands. So we operate 7 major reservoirs, including the Shan Dam at Beltwood Lake, the Guelph Lake Dam, and the Conestoga Lake Dam. 9.5% of our land holdings are within urban boundaries. We operate 21 small dams, which now mostly hold recreational, aesthetic, or historic value. Approximately 1,200 acres of urban parkland is owned by the GRCA, but maintained by municipalities through maintenance agreements. Our conservation lands offer approximately 125 kilometers of managed trails. We own 75 kilometers of rail trail, such as a portion of the Elora Cataract Trailway that goes from outside the town of Erin into the town of Laura, as well as the Paris to Cambridge Rail Trail and the Hamilton to Brantford Rail Trail. 37% of our land holdings are used for water management purposes. This percent includes both the land and land that is covered by water. 22% of the GRCA's lands are not accessible to the public. Some have sensitive habitat, some are landlocked or have other restrictions for access, and some have agreements for other programming. Throughout the development of the conservation area strategy, 5 objectives were established to help guide the strategic management of GRCA lands. Over the next few slides, I'll focus on each objective at a high level and identify some of the associated action items. More information about each objective can be found online in the draft strategy. The first objective is to manage GRCA land holdings in compliance with relevant federal, provincial, and municipal regulations, policies, and guidelines. This objective describes the GRCA's commitment to ensuring ongoing compliance with regulations from all levels of government. Associated action items include that when there are changes to any federal, provincial, or municipal policy or regulation that relates to the GRCA, we will collaboratively work to integrate changes to our operations, update policies, processes, and meet timelines where needed. Objective 2 is to consider ecosystem health and resilience when making land management decisions. The GRCA owns many parcels of land, and some parcels have water management infrastructure, natural heritage lands, which would include wetlands, rivers, and forests, and land with natural hazard features, such as floodplains, steep slopes, and erosion hazards. GRCA lands are important as they provide valuable ecosystem and hydrologic functions, and they also help to reduce flood and erosion damage. By incorporating ecosystem health and watershed science into our management strategies, GRCA lands become more resilient to changing conditions, disturbances, climate change, and contribute to the overall health of the Grand River watershed. Action items that align with this objective include development of a natural heritage restoration strategy, maintenance and management plans, including 5-year operating plans for existing grassland, wetland, and forest restoration projects, and completion of the Natural Hazard Infrastructure Asset Management Plan. The third objective is to provide sustainable outdoor recreational and educational opportunities and connections with the natural environment. Our conservation areas, conservation lands, and outdoor environmental education programs offer a variety of recreational and nature-based activities that are aimed to connect visitors with the environment and foster an appreciation for nature. These programs are important as they help celebrate the ecological diversity of the watershed, and visitors can experience the benefits of being outdoors. We aim to operate these programs in a manner that is both environmentally and financially sustainable, and this is important in order to conserve the spaces where our programs are offered and to also ensure financial resiliency and continuation of the programs. Action items that we'll be working on that align with this objective include the development of trail standards strategy, a signage strategy, the GRCA property asset management plan, conservation area standard operating procedures, and Canadian Heritage River reporting to maintain the Canadian Heritage River designation. The fourth objective is to enhance community partnerships on GRCA properties. The GRCA partners with agencies such as watershed municipalities, First Nations, environmental organizations, and other community groups to support mutual benefits on GRCA lands. Collaborations in the past have included river-related links and trails, conservation of lands, recreational, educational, and economic opportunities, and supporting community and municipal infrastructure. These partnerships help create more access to green space, provide opportunities for economic development, fulfill service gaps, and enhance our relationship with First Nations, municipalities, and local organizations. Action items that align with this objective include agreement standards, research permit process, and partner engagement guidelines. The fifth and last objective is to manage GRCA landholdings in a strategic, fiscally responsible, and sustainable way. The 1930s to 1980s was a rapid period of land acquisition for the GRCA, and throughout the years, our land management programs and priorities have evolved. It's important that our land portfolio aligns with these changes and adapts to meet the current priorities of the GRCA. Depending on the authority's needs, the GRCA may undertake strategic and fiscally responsible land transactions such as dispositions, acquisitions, easements, maintenance agreements, donations, or land exchanges. GRCA's policies on acquisition and disposition outline the priorities and process for land transactions. Action items that we'll be working on that align with this objective include residential tenancy wind-down, conservation area enforcement manual, and a conservation land strategy, which is a strategy that includes only our conservation land properties. Currently, we are undertaking consultation on the development of the strategy, which includes public and stakeholder consultation. Public survey is available also on our website, which provides you with an opportunity to give feedback on the draft strategy. All responses are anonymous and will be compiled and reviewed collectively. Following the publication of the final strategy, it will be reviewed and updated as needed every 5 years, and will also include opportunities for public consultation at that time. The draft strategy and public survey will be available on our website until October 4th. The link is on the screen and is www.grandriver.ca/conservation areas strategy. So that is an overview of the GRCA's draft conservation areas strategy. Thank you all again for joining us, and I hope you're able to share your feedback. Thank you very much.